I've spoken before about the difficulties of being a young man and how, we're not taken seriously because, we're not that competent. We're still figuring our lives out and everything is just difficult, right? Like we don't know what we're doing. We're trying to become someone, right? And that's very difficult. But in this video, I'm going to speak about like the opposite side of that, right? It's the coming of age story. I've always loved that. And I don't know, for me, it's always given me infinite motivation. So coming of age, like, what do I mean by that? Right now, there's so many different meanings of it. But for me, I just mean like when you see someone progress from like they started from the bottom and like Drake lyrics, like started from the bottom, now they're here. Like just something as simple as that. Like just seeing someone fulfill their potential, right? So for me, I love football, right? I love football, like Premier League, Champions League, all of that. Like I love that sport, right? And you can see it in any sport really. Like you can apply this to any sport, even like F1 or whatever it is. Seeing a young like athlete with so much potential fulfill that potential, it's I don't know about you guys, for me that's motivation, right? And this is what I'm going to be speaking about in this video. I'm really just going to like set it out for you, right? Like set out what I mean exactly. I'm saying like coming of age, right? So like in football, like, and I'm guessing it's the same in lots of other sports. You get all these youngsters coming in with all this potential and everything, but rarely do you ever get to see like many of them truly fulfill that potential, right? Like in football, we have obviously like Messi and Ronaldo. Like no one's touching their level, right? No one's. Maybe we'll get close, but no one's ever going to get to their level. But even the ones that are like just below that, the ones you see, you're like they got star quality. Like you look at like your Mbappes, your Haalands, your Bellinghams, like. There's just something like that's something different, right? So you have these players that come and you're like, I remember when Haaland came, right? When Haaland came and he was like, he was fresh, like he was scoring, like everyone was hearing about this little, no, well, he wasn't little, this massive young Norwegian striker who's scoring all these goals, right? He scored 9 goals in the under 21 World Cup or whatever it is for Norway. And it's like, oh, that's pretty cool or whatever, but it's just he's a youngster, right? Then he's playing for like RB Salzburg and some Austrian league, and he's banging goals in the Champions League. He's scoring goals. He scored a hat trick, and then he moves to Dortmund, right? And it's like, okay, welcome to the big leagues, welcome to the big 5, right? And hat trick, first half hat trick on his debut, right? He scored it in 45 minutes, breaking records, right? He's breaking records. Champions League, he's breaking records. It's incredible, right? He's doing well. And then, Man City buy him, right? Like now it's like, welcome to the big leagues. Like now it's like, really welcome to the biggest league. Show yourself, right? Bam. I don't know if he hit the ground running. I'm not sure if he hit I'm not sure how he did the first couple of games. I think he probably had a bit of a drought, but that season broke the goals record. First season broke the goals record, right? Next season, Champions League, Premier League, FA Cup, like they won the treble, right? Like that is fulfilling your potential. I think of Mbappe, right? Came in, he started playing at like Monaco. He was again just a fresh kid with like so much talent, playing so well, right? And he gets a big move to PSG, and he's doing well. But it's like it's the French league. No one really takes it seriously. And forgive me for my guys that aren't into football, but I'll get to different examples soon, right? He comes in and he plays at PSG. It's a big club, and it's like, okay, like there's all this pressure, whatever. And he's also doing really well, right? And also like Neymar's just come in, and he's like kind of outshining Neymar, right? And then World Cup comes, bah. They won the World Cup. He's playing for France. They're the best team in the world, so he's always gonna do that. But like, scored like 2 really good goals against Argentina in the quarterfinal. Youngest player since Pele to score in the final, like at 19. It's like, okay, like you've done really well, and you see them like coming of age, and it's just something special because you don't get to see too much of this. There's so many stories of like young players who come in and like they don't reach their potential. But like when you see someone really hit their potential, it's incredible. Like on FIFA, right? Like. Sorry, I'm just gonna keep on going about football. I love football, right? On FIFA, you get like this young player comes in with potential. If you've played like FIFA career mode, like if you get a young player with so much potential and they start, they always hit their potential. Like if FIFA says they've got like a 92 rating potential, within 3 years they're gonna hit that potential. But in real life, it doesn't work that way. But when it does happen, it's special. It really is special. And I'll go on to another example, right? And I think another example I'll use is like let's use like rappers for example, right? You know, you get like a new rapper who's come on the scene, and you know, like he's young, he's fresh, but you can tell he's got potential, but it's raw potential, right? Like it's decent. He's made like some bops, but now we need like consistency, like we need bangers, right? And you see them a couple years later, bro, like they rap like it's so much more polished. Their music is so much more polished. They're getting more consistent hits. They're just hitting levels and levels and levels and levels, right? But even apart from that image, I feel like that's where you really see something incredible. And I just to sidestep this thing, like movies, I think that was the first time I ever saw like really coming of age. You know, you see that movie of like the kid who is in high school, he's like a nerd, or like no one really cares about him or whatever it is. The summer comes, and you know, it's like maybe like the year where he's like 16 or whatever. Puberty comes, shoots up a couple of inches, gets jacked, and all of a sudden he's like this handsome guy that, like, you know, he's a cool guy, he's good at sports and everyone loves him. And it's like, that's a simple thing, but it was so motivational, right? It's like your life can change, like you can transform completely. Like that was incredible. But going back to the rappers, right? So you start off, I spoke about like their skill, right? Like, you know, they start off with like raw potential, but then their work becomes more polished, more enjoyable. It's just more effortless, right? But even like the image, they come in and like they're clean cut and everything. And you know, I'm a clean cut kind of guy. I love class. Like I'm not with all this like tattoos, jewelry, or all that crap, right? But in this case, like it still like works, right? They come in like clean, you know, they got like a baby face or whatever it is, and then bam, like they grow a really nice beard. Maybe they don't grow a beard, but they get like these tattoos. And again, like I'm not the biggest fan of tattoos. Like I don't think I'd ever get tattoos. But like for them, it's like this transformation, it's massive. Like they start dressing so much different, like they got this jewelry, like their hair is different, their demeanor is different, like just the way they speak is different. And it's like, it's just this massive change, right? And you just get to see it, like you're seeing this coming of age, right? Like again, I'm speaking on the same thing, like it's coming of age, like they're fulfilling their potential. And it's just something incredible. It's motivational because like you see where they started and where they are, and it's like when they're there, it's difficult to picture, right? It really is difficult to picture. And I think I'm going to move on to the next example, and something as simple as the Lion King, right? You know, the Lion King, you know the story, he's like young, and then his father is like, he's this guy, he's the guy, right? He's the king. And then he dies or whatever it is, and he's just this little cub, and he comes back and he's mad, like he's fully grown, like he's just like his dad, right? He was just a little cub, but like he couldn't even roar properly. And then now he's grown up, like now he's this massive thing, like he's got the massive mane, he's got the roar, and he's got like the demeanor to match. Like he's fulfilling his potential, like he's coming back and he's following in his father's footsteps. Just something as simple as that, like that's motivation. I don't know if you guys are feeling like what I'm trying to portray here. But another one I like to use is YouTubers. Oh my goodness, like when you watch YouTubers, like especially like self-improvement YouTubers, like for me, I just think of like Hamza or like Iman, right? Like, yeah, okay, we watch their videos and stuff, like the new videos, and it's like, oh, this is sick, right? Like it's like, okay, they you know, they've presented themselves in like an amazing way, like they've done well for themselves in their lives. But you go back and you watch their first video. Like I remember watching when Hamza was just looking back, and he was like, just his first video from like 2 or 3 years ago. And it's like, bro, it's not even the same person. Like, it's not even the same person. And again, apart from like looks, right? Like, okay, you've grown like bigger, like you've grown up, like you've got a more clean look, like you look more handsome and everything. Apart from that, just the way they speak, like, obviously there's like an increase in quality of videos and everything, and that's nice and whatever. But even just like the tone of voice, like the confidence in their voice, right? Like the firmness with which they speak. Like when you listen to like Hamza when he speaks, like he's got so much presence. Like he's he's calm. He's not afraid to like have a pause in the video and like look at you and carry on speaking and speak with so much conviction. When you look at like his first videos, it's like he's nervous, like his voice is more higher pitched and everything, and it's just simple things like that. And it's like, wow, that's not even the same person, bro. That's not even the same person. And the last example I want to use will be like actors, right? So Suits, like if you guys know the TV show Suits, right? It's about high-powered lawyers like Harvey Specter, just okay. If you haven't watched it, it's a TV show about high-powered lawyers, right? And Harvey Specter is like the man, like he's him, like he's the one with presence, he's the one, he's got the charisma, he's got the looks, like he's just him, okay. And there's this guy that comes in, Mike, he's an apprentice, like he's just this guy whose life was all over the place. He wanted to be a lawyer, but he started like selling tests or whatever, and then he sold one to the dean's daughter, so he couldn't study at Harvard, so he couldn't be a lawyer. And now he's been doing all these fake tests for like he's been doing all these tests for people who are trying to get into the bar, and he's been selling them, whatever. And he was like selling weed or whatever it is, and he ends up in the hotel, and he ends up in where they're doing interviews, and he just goes in, and he's got like this photographic memory or whatever it is, and he basically impresses Harvey, and Harvey's like, okay, I'm gonna take you on even though you're not like a real lawyer, and that's like the premise of the show. But like he comes in as this kid who, like, you can see it, like you can see just the difference between him and Harvey. Like Harvey's like clean, like he's the man, and then you got like Mike, like his suit doesn't fit properly, like he's got these shirts that, like, I don't know if mine have, no, yeah, I think mine might actually have the buttons, but like he's got those shirts that just don't look good, like it's buttoned down here, like it just doesn't look good. His hair isn't cut properly, he's like the skinny, like nervous kid who doesn't know what he's doing. And you look at like season 4, and it's completely different. You can just tell the quality of the suits is just so much better. He's like the suits are tailored, like he's got like his hair's properly done now, like everything about him. And then again, I've said, like, there's two parts to this. There's the looks, and then there's like the actual like demeanor and like skill. Like he's obviously like he's a much better lawyer, like he knows what he's doing, like you walk in, he's got like, but he's also got confidence, like the way he speaks. I spoke earlier about like the way people speak, like the way he speaks, the way he walks in, like with confidence, it's so different, and again, like that's motivation. That's motivation. That's what I'm saying in this video. And on the other side of like actors, like I think of like Michael B. Jordan, like I think a lot of us have seen like his looks maxing like journey. You see where he was like a couple years ago, and he's like skinny, he had like the cornrows, he had like this, again, like just this demeanor of like, oh, I'm not gonna take you, like no one's gonna take you seriously or whatever it is, and he just transforms himself. Like obviously like he got into steroids and stuff, but that's beside the point. Like he's got a massive, he's got like a nice haircut, like he's even grown like a beard, and like completely changed, right? Like you think of Black Panther, like he's the villain, he's like, oh, like he's beating up the king, and he's like, oh, is this your king? He's like, nah, I'm your king, like just something like that. Like he's like, demeanor has changed. You've gone from this corny kid, this corny little like kid that like no one takes seriously, like he's acting in like rom-coms and all that stuff, and now you're in Black Panther, you're the villain, right? Like women like thirsting over him and everything, and it's like just completely changed, right? Then he goes into Creed. Like Creed, I've been watching a lot of his Creed stuff, and it's like that's different. That's different. You've gone from this to this. It's just completely different demeanor. Like I was watching a lot of like the Creed things on YouTube, like just the motivational things. I've seen some of the Creed 2 like training montage or whatever it is. I got like 128 million views. Like people are watching this for motivation. They're watching like you're a boxer. Like you're a boxer following in Rocky's footsteps. Like how have you gone from this kid that like no one knew, you were acting in rom-coms, like just completely different. Like you were like 27 but you look like a kid, and now like you're like him. Like people are watching you for motivation, right? Like you're that guy, right? Like again, I've spoken about like looks as well. Like everyone knows like the looks, like bigger neck, jawline, everything. Like it's just different. Like that coming of age, like I think is beautiful. It's so much motivation for us because it takes a while. It does take a while to come off age. But I think it's important to just keep grasping onto that. Like I picture that for myself, right? Like they're things that I want to level up. Obviously, like in the looks department, like again, I can see like myself. Obviously, I've come a long way. Like I look back at like even just from like a year ago, and I look at myself and I'm like, oh damn, like I've really like leveled up. Like I look at old self and I'm like, right? And it's like even right now, I can see things in myself that I'm going to look back a couple of years from now, hopefully, and be like, ugh. Like right now, like I cut my own hair, and it's like the hair isn't like proper, like get like a proper haircut, like haircut that fits me properly. My beard, again, it's still growing. Like I'm still growing it out or whatever, and it's like beard will be like fuller, get like a better jawline, like a bigger neck, a better like physique, be leaner, like better clothes, bro, like tailored, like the suits that I wear, like everyone is always like, oh, like my suits or whatever, because I'm the only one who wears suits like to work or wherever I go, right? But like even those suits, like they're very cheap, they're low quality, like the average person can't tell, but like for me, I can tell. Like it's like there's just certain things, right? And it's like, oh, you have like leveled up suits, like they'll be well tailored, like high quality, they fit properly, like just things like that. Like something as simple as cologne. Like the cologne I use, it's fine. Like it's like a $20 cologne, right? It's fine, like it works, but like you want like those higher quality colognes that last like the whole day and they're stronger. Like just something as simple as that, bro. Something as simple as that, right? Just the whole thing. Like I've beaten this to death in this video. Like I'm sorry, it's really motivational. Like things like that. That's like completely changed. Like your lifestyle's completely changed. You like the levels are just completely different. Like, and that's just on the look side, right? And then I picture for myself like skills. Like I said, I'm a first year trainee, so like we don't know anything. Like we're asking questions about anything and everything because we don't know how to do stuff, right? And it's like just picture myself like a year or two from now and I've got all this knowledge and like I'm the one who's like leading audits. Like I'm the one who's teaching like first year trainees and stuff, like how to do this and that. Like I'm the one with like the skill. Like just that's motivation. You've come in as this like snotty like kid who doesn't know anything, and like that's the place I'm at now. And it's like, just picturing myself next year or the year after, right? In my third year, and it's like I come in like this and now I'm like so much higher. Like it's like I'm so much better. Like I know so much more, and it's incredible. And I can also just imagine the confidence and things like just changes like completely, right? And even YouTube. Like again, I don't know which stage I'm at in my YouTube like journey, but I know like when I'm gonna hit the next level, I'm gonna be looking back at these videos and being like again, I spoke earlier about the YouTubers. Like just something as simple as the way I speak. Like I might be like speaking slower, with a better tone, like with more presence, and obviously the videos will be higher quality and everything, but like I'll be making like better eye contact, like just things like that. Simple things, but it's completely different. Like I don't know if you should know now, like I've beaten this thing to that, but like I feel like that's something that's beautiful. And I think our parents do get to see that a lot as well. That's why like our parents, like they always, like of course parents love their kids, but like seeing them grow up, like they're always going on about, they're like, oh, you've grown so much and everything. Like I think of my parents, right? Like they've seen me grow up from being like a little kid to like now I'm like a grown man. I'm living in like my own apartment. I've got my own car. I've got a full like a job and everything. Obviously for me, like I said, so it's all different. I'm always telling you guys about like my life goals and like my life issues and stuff. But for them, it's like, damn, like you've grown up. Like even just something as simple as this beard that I have, this patchy beard. It's like, bro, you've gone from being this little baby face, high-pitched voice, completely dependent on like your parents and everything, to like now you're fully independent. Like something like that for them is beautiful to see, and I feel like something like I want to get to experience that for myself. Right? Like I don't know. I feel like if you don't get to experience, and it's sad to think that a lot of people don't get to experience that in life because they're just not striving for anything. But like, I feel like that's motivation to do something with your life, right? Like to keep improving, keep going, bro. Like you want to look back and be like, oh man, I've come so far. And I do look back and I'm like, I have come so far, but also like I still have like levels I want to hit. I want to get to the place where I'm like him. Let's say like I've maxed out so much of things in my life, right? And I just want to look back and be like, like I want to look back like a year from now. Obviously, like it can take any length of time or whatever, but it'd be lovely if it could happen a year from now, 6 months from now, right? But like just to look back and be like, damn, Gideon, like, oh, you came here, like your driving wasn't good because you hadn't like driven your first car, you were living in your own apartment and everything, and it's like, oh, you were new to the city, you weren't good at your job because you didn't know what you're doing, you had like no friend group and everything. I was like, now you've completely transformed, you look completely different, your demeanor's completely different, you're so much more competent, you're more confident, like just things like that. Like for me, I don't know, that's motivation. But I've beaten this horse to death. I'm sure you probably understood what I meant within like the first minute, but that's kind of how like I just wanted to explain like the motivation. But you guys let me know what you think of the topic in the comments below. Make sure you subscribe to join the self-improvement brotherhood, and until next time, I will see you boys.